So obviously there's 50, 60 probably VCs out there who are doing something similar. What's kind of your secret sauce? What are you doing that perhaps those 60 odd aren't doing?
Yeah, well, we do almost at every step in the process, we do little things that make a difference and are done differently because we've looked at how that's played out in the rest of the industry. So when I set up the ventures team in Blackfinch, I looked at the way everyone did these things and I said, well, we'll take that, that and that because we think that's really good, but we're going to do that bit differently. So one of the things that we do, for example, on the early side of the process is when we are looking at those deals, those early deals, those sort of the ones that come into the hopper at the start, is the senior members of the team won't do those calls at that very early stage. And one of the reasons for that is that we just know that that introduces a pretty strong bias into the process. There's a natural kind of human thing where if you sit down with someone you like, you know, you're more likely to invest in their business. And we want to kind of remove that. What we have is we have our analyst team, our pipeline team, and they do all those early calls. They sort of get the data together, bring it to meetings every single day where they convey it to the rest of the team, the senior team, in a very sort of data-driven, sort of curated way. And then we make decisions on which ones we move forward to the next stage with.
So look, we talked about the process there. You've talked us through how you select some of those companies. I guess we move on to the pitch process now. And when we talk to advisors, that's sometimes the part of the piece they don't understand. They only see Dragon's Den. That's the only piece they can relate to. So do you want to tell us how you do your pitch process?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we've got, let's say we've narrowed it down from maybe 1.5, maybe 2,000 opportunities a year down through this kind of filtering process where they're going out and getting the data to maybe, I don't know, probably 100, couple of hundred at this point. Then it goes into the next stage, and that's the pitch process for us. And it is a bit like Dragon's Den in a sense, but we've designed this again to give us, we think, an edge. So what we do with our pitches is we do them for really quite a long period of time. Most firms probably do hour and a half meetings with partners, with senior members, do maybe a few of those. When I ran my accelerator, I helped and I coached people to go and have these sort of investor meetings for, you know, and to deliver a brilliant pitch for an hour. You know, it's very easy.
I can say generally they're very slick, they're very polished, aren't they?
Very polished. They've got a veneer over the top, and so when I came to this role in Blackfinch, I thought, well, you know, that's a problem because, you know, if you bring someone in for an hour and a half, they're going to talk brilliantly for an hour and a half. You're not really going to get into the. So what we do is we go for sort of 3 plus maybe 4 hours long. And we get all that out of the way at the beginning. You know, we let them do their pitch. We sort of go on for maybe 40, 50 minutes of doing their pitch. Most of the questions out of the way. And then after an hour and a half, 2 hours, we're getting into the stuff we really care about.
That's when you hit them, that's where it gets intense from their point of view, and that's when they start making mistakes, or you get under the bonnet a little bit more?
That's right. And people, when we talk about this, people always think this sounds quite intense and possibly a little unfair, but there's another thing that happens during this process which is really fascinating, which is that because we're nearly all ex-founders ourselves, there's a sort of a bit of a bond that gets created because you're in a room for, we have toilet breaks, we're in the room for like 3-4 hours and you know, lots and lots of questions, but not only do we get to learn about what they're doing and all the sort of cracks and the interesting bits and how they are as people, how coachable they are, but also they get to learn, you know, that we're actually quite smart. You know, we've got 2 PhDs on the team, and we've got people that have founded companies before. It creates that sort of bond too.